In Wolverine and Gambit, Victims, Issue 1, we look back on the autumn of 1888 as the good people of London had to fear for the lives of their wives and daughters with Jack the Ripper on the loose. Over 100 years later, it would appear Jack the Ripper has returned, with over 4 women falling victim to what appear to be sharp claws, and a 5th victim being found tonight. But elsewhere, as it's nighttime half a world away, bad habits seem to die hard as the Cajun X-Men helps himself to a safe full of jewels. But before Gambit can get away, he's confronted by the X-Man Rogue. Now Gambit throws a card at the chandelier, but Rogue tackles Gambit out of the window. As the 2 X-Men fall from the heights of the cityscape, Gambit informs Rogue that they're 40 stories up as the 2 X-Men hit the ground. But luckily no one was injured as this is all just a hologram in the Danger Room sequence. Gambit would hop on a flight from New York to London. On the news, he would hear reports of the serial killer stalking the streets of London. Gambit makes his way inside the office window of an investigator to look over his notes in regards to all the killings. As Gambit is interrupted by the investigator, he throws a card and quickly incapacitates him. Night turns into day, and Gambit takes a motorcycle to a town outside of London called Cheshire. Gambit goes to talk with the parents of the 5th victim. Gambit explains he's working on her case, and the parents tell him what they know. But the father expresses discontent in the fact that Alexandra was a detective, but she still wasn't allowed to carry guns. Too bad this didn't take place in the United States. But Gambit takes off to continue his investigation. But the couple think the interaction is suspicious, so they take that opportunity to call Inspector Andrews. As night comes, Gambit hits the streets of London. Gambit would encounter a woman that has seemingly encountered the Ripper, but unfortunately for Gambit, it was all a setup to capture him. Gambit tries to explain that he's working the case and he came here to help, but the investigator he incapacitated earlier takes that opportunity to punch Gambit in the mouth. Now this pisses off Gambit as he pulls out several cards, letting them know that was a lucky punch and you won't get another. Now the investigator and all the cops are like, oh shit, as they're not prepared to deal with a mutant. But Gambit leaps over the cops and begins to engage someone in the shadows. Gambit thinks to himself, whoever they are, they're quick and they move like none other than Wolverine. As Gambit pulls out some cards and shines some light on the situation, he's surprised to find it is Wolverine. Gambit tells Wolverine to explain the blood all over him, but Wolverine can't. Wolverine also explains that if you're here to make sure he had nothing to do with killing those women, Wolverine doesn't remember if he had anything to do with that either, as he doesn't even know how the fuck he got to London. But as Gambit and Wolverine are talking, they're confronted by several heavily armed men in the form of the CID anti-terrorist organization. Gambit and Wolverine prepare for a possible fight as some unknown person watches from the shadows. To be continued.